All right, class. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to look at adding photos to your layout. Before we add any photos to your layout, and this is mainly because we're doing best practices for our print environment, which is really the most helpful for you. We have to do just an added step before we add a photo to InDesign. Okay, so we're going to go into Photoshop. So make sure you open up your Photoshop in your Creative Cloud. And I am going to, so this is my opening window, and I'm going to go to open. And I have my photo that I took on my phone for this particular demo. Um, and you will have to do this step of processing these photos for any and all images that you want to put into your layout. Okay, all of the steps that I'm going to go over with you, I will provide a PDF in Canvas, and I'm going to click on it so you can see it. But it'll be available on Canvas for you. I give you the steps that we're going to go through for print, processing photos for print, and then processing photos for the web. So, the first couple times you do it, you might have to be following along step by step. But once you figure out the most important steps, the rest of it kind of becomes kind of natural. So let's get to it. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to check the resolution of your image. Okay, no matter what the source is, you should do that. So you're going to go open your image, which I did. I'm going to go to image, go to image size, and right here, okay, I'm going to make sure that this checkbox is unchecked. So it should not have a check. And resolution for print is 300 dpi. Okay, so right here, I'm going to put 300, and you can see that the measurement of my photo has kind of adjusted a little bit. So it, in reality, it's 13 by about 6.5, and you're going to click OK. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the color mode of our image. Any digital images that you have, I just wanted to let this, any digital images that you have will be RGB. RGB color mode is for web, any kind of digital output, but for print, it's a 4-color process called the CMYK. And so cyan, yellow, magenta, and black are your CMYK colors. So those are the inks that are actually on the press. So I'm going to go back to image. I'm going to go to CMYK. So Photoshop will give you a warning that you're switching color modes, but it's more of a notification, not like a don't do it. Okay, so you're going to click OK, and then you're going to go to File, and you're going to save this out as a TIFF. Okay, so I'm going to go here. And here I am in my folder for this particular project. And I'm going to keep that file name, and I'm going to go to TIFF. And it will automatically update my file extension, as you can see here. I'm going to click Save. The most important little bubble in this dialog box is this image compression section, and make sure that you're clicking on LZW compression. Okay, All of these other ones, they should be okay as whatever their default is, but the LZW compression, I think it's more important than all of them. And it's an algorithm that a scientist did for compressing the image file. So click OK. All right, so now it's saved it into the folder, right? We're going to go into kind of maybe color correcting some of like these Photoshop images in a later video for those of you who feel comfortable in Photoshop and want to kind of go into like color adjustment with me. But for now, you know, that is our biggest thing, that we process that photo. And then I'm going to click OK. So we're back into our InDesign, okay? And for me to add the photo to my layout, I'm going to go to File, Place, okay? And I'm going to look for my folder, and I'm going to look for my TIFF, okay? So make sure you're inserting the TIFF, and you're going to click Open. And you can see here that this is like a little thumbnail that's following my mouse. And I'm going to, you know, click and drag it just roughly. Here's my image. Okay. Images in InDesign are a little bit funny in the sense that you can adjust them multiple ways. So sometimes it takes a little bit of getting used to. But for the images in InDesign, you have a couple elements working for you. You have the actual image, right? And the frame that the image is in. So this is the frame, like this outside boundary, and you can see that you can adjust it. And in adjusting it, you can actually crop the image itself, okay? If you want to move your photo, you should use your black arrow tool and kind of like place your mouse towards the edge or a corner, not on the corner, but just like towards the edge, the sides. If you want to move it up or down, if you want to make it bigger, you can use this percentage. Okay, so that's the frame and the actual box, image box itself. If you hit the center of this image box, you're going to see like this outline right here. You see that? That is actually the image itself. So you're basically, if you imagine this box that we're seeing on the page is a frame, and inside this frame is the image, okay? If you look at this corresponding image, and then right up here, there is a percentage, okay? The most important part, biggest takeaway I think for you, is to avoid pixelation, one. And to do that, you should make sure that you're always at 100%, okay? At 100% or under, okay? Do not go over 100%. And I know it might be in this scenario very easy not to do because my image is fortunately very large. But for some of you, you might encounter that some of your photos are not as large as this one, okay? And so that's really the basics of processing the photo in Photoshop and then placing it into InDesign, okay? So that is what our flyer looks like right now. And then we will move on to the next step in the next video. All right, talk to you then.